Hello there, very good evening and welcome to this Monday's edition of Primetime News.
I won't go. Well, that was a sentiment echoed by many national politicians today as speculation was rife regarding possible crossovers.
We have more details coming up on the bulletin, but before that, let's take a look at tonight's headlines.
The 2015 budget passed in Parliament with a majority of 95 votes. Maithripala Sirisena says that the name and symbol of the common opposition will be unveiled within the next 2 days. We will not take responsibility for anyone at the presidential poll, the stance of the JVP.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී වීම පුළුල් කර ගැනීම සඳහා එකඟතාවයට එන අපේක්ෂක ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්නේ නම් බහුලව අය කර ගැනීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය වෙන ජනතා ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය මෙදියතියුම් තමයි අපි අරමුණු බවට පත් කිරීම.
Accepting of bonds from prospective presidential candidates commences. Blocking of Sirasa on satellite and cable TV was the work of a fool. A statement from Minister Vasudeva Nanayakkara.
On to your top story tonight, the 2015 budget was passed in Parliament this evening with a majority of 95 votes. 152 MPs voted yes, while 57 MPs voted no.
Newsfirst Parliament correspondent Amrishri Bandara noted that in spite of the many rumours that were floating around during the day, there was no crossovers in Parliament today. Chief Opposition Whip John Amaratunga called for the vote following a tense debate. Leader of the House, Minister Nima Siripala de Silva, called for a roll call. The UMP, JVP and TNA voted against, while all ruling party members present in the chamber voted for the budget. Among the notable absentees in Parliament today were the group of MPs who defected to the opposition led by Maithripala Sirisena. The JHU MPs and independent MP Arjuna Ranatunga were also absent from Parliament today. The UMP, TNA and JVP MPs voted against the passage of the budget.
Speaking to News First shortly after the passage of the budget in Parliament today, UPFA General Secretary Minister Susil Premajayanta expressed the following views.
The budget for the 2015 financial year passed by the Parliament with two-third majority. The government group voted for the budget with 152 members and the opposition got only 57 members support and then 14 absent. So then it shows the stability of the President's government, and we have confidence to go ahead with the planned presidential election with very comfortable majority because there's a stability in the Parliament, stability in the government and the stability in the country. We are confident that we can go ahead with our plans and we'll start our massive campaign for the forthcoming presidential election.
A meeting was held between public representatives of the Polonnaruwa district and President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Polonnaruwa yesterday. The presidential media unit said that the representatives who were present at the meeting had pledged to refrain from defecting to another party.
The meeting was held at the Central Bank Holiday Guest House in Somavati. Ministers, provincial councillors and local government authority members from the Polonnaruwa district were present at the meeting. A communique issued by the presidential media unit noted that the representatives had mentioned that the president who was behind the inception of a golden era for the Sri Lanka Freedom Party was instrumental in putting a stop to the war and developing the country. The presidential media unit noted that the representatives had pledged to strengthen the efforts undertaken by the president.
Maithripala Sirisena says that they hope to announce the name and symbol of the common opposition within the next 2 days. He made the statement during his visit to Kandy today.
Maithripala Sirisena, who visited Kandy today, was extended a warm welcome at the historical temple of the Sacred Tooth relic. Subsequent to paying homage to the Sacred Tooth relic, he visited the Askiri Mahaviharaya. He called on the chief prelate of the Askiru chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Udugama Sri Buddha Rakkhita Thera. The meeting was held behind closed doors. Thereafter, Sirusena called on the Anunayaka of the Malvato chapter of the Siam sect, Venerable Nyangodu Vijayasiri Thera, who represented the chief prelate, the most venerable Thibbatuwe Sri Sumangala Thera, who is currently abroad.
We created this alliance together with the UNP and the SLFP, as well as several other political parties, and we hope to announce the name and symbol of our alliance within the next 2 days. As an alliance, we will announce our future course of action, which has been mentioned in the decree. The country needs a change. That is why we hope for fair and just election. We will work towards this.
Thereafter, the group including Maitripala Sirusena visited the Mira Makka Mosque in Kandy.
The JVP stated today that it would participate in the people's movement to ensure that the candidate who agrees to broaden democratic structures fulfills this task. JVP leader Anurakumar Dissanayake also said that the party would not accept responsibility for anyone.
No matter who becomes president, I believe there's a possibility for a rapid parliamentary election. This parliament must be filled with forces that work towards democracy. We wish to state that we will not accept responsibility for any one person. Why? No matter who becomes president, we will not be the key stakeholder. We will raise public opinion against this dictatorial regime. The people will decide who to vote for. If the candidate who comes forward to broaden democratic structures is victorious, then we will participate in the people's movement to ensure that he fulfills this task. That is our intention. We will not get on one platform to make any one candidate victorious. We do not have any conditions either. All we have to say to the people is that various persons make various promises during elections, but instead of closing up shop after the election, go beyond the election and ensure public activism that will see these tasks fulfilled. That is what we hope to do. We will not reach agreements and compromises with various people. We have done so in the past.
Journalists raised questions at this media briefing regarding the position of Prime Minister.
I do not think that any one person can decide who the Prime Minister is. The Prime Minister is decided on by the majority in Parliament. Who elects the majority in Parliament? If any person is able to secure the people's vote and form a majority in Parliament of any party or group, then any such person can become Prime Minister. We will not be putting forward a candidate of our own for the presidential election either.
General Secretary of the JHU, Partly Champika Ranawaka, says that they hope to announce the Jatika Helarumia's stance on Thursday. He stated that the JHU is dedicated to uphold democracy and good governance.
The JHU is currently engaging in a campaign to create awareness with regard to their objectives. Handbills were distributed at the Colombo Fort railway station with the participation of the General Secretary of the party, Partly Champika Ranawaka. The Jatika Helorumia not only hopes to create awareness but also receive a favourable response from the public. Partly Champika Ranawaka stated that the country currently needs to resolve the matters relating to the issues surrounding governance. We hope to make a public announcement on our stance on the 27th of this month at the public library. We will fearlessly stand against anyone who is attempting to present false allegations on war crimes. We have also stood fearlessly to show our support for unity. Furthermore, we will be showing our unconditional support in issues with regard to territorial integrity. But we cannot use that as a tool to undermine good governance and democracy. Therefore, in democracy and in good governance, we cannot segregate war crimes and must instead take immediate measures to renovate a political system that suits our country. The Jatika Hela Urumia is determined to empower all opposition parties in order to carry out this endeavour.
A group supporting the Mahinda Chintane distributed leaflets at the same time the Jatika Hela Urumia was carrying out their campaign.
Brochures titled Obe Heta, Obe Handa, Obe Janapati, loosely translated into Your Tomorrow, Your Voice, Your President, were distributed opposite the Fort railway station. A number of points were highlighted in the handout, including the vision of developing Sri Lanka as an economic hub of South Asia and creating a green environment with development to the level of a middle-income country.
Minister Reginald Kure says that a majority of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party wish to see the abolition of the executive presidency. He made this statement at a media briefing convened by the UPFA in Colombo today.
If there exists a president who used this post which has been dubbed wrong, sinful and corrupt for good, then it is President Mahinda Rajapaksa. A majority of those in the SLFP want to see this change. The challenge we are facing now is how do we move forward with this task while upholding our independence and pride.
We do not approve of the powers of the presidency. We have fought to end the presidential powers since the past. Even today we embroiled in that fight. But this is a battle we are fighting with the alliance. Regardless of what level of acceptance our demands have within the alliance, we will move forward with them to secure the president's victory.
The disruption of MTV channels on Saturday was also brought up at this media briefing. We were informed that it was a problem with transmission. His Excellency the President called and asked that inquiries be made into whether such a thing happened. In truth, we are looking into it at present. His Excellency the President is strongly against this. He personally made a call and reprimanded them. He ordered an immediate inquiry into what happened. In truth, the government is not able to intervene and talk about whether this happened. Could something have happened for whatever reason? Can you immediately point the finger?
With the presidential election being announced, views are being expressed over possible party crossovers in the current political fora. Let's have a listen to some of the views expressed by politicians.
We challenge you to try and prey on at least one MP from Kalutara before the final vote for the budget. We will not go. We will stay together.
Naturally, after you ascend a mountain, there is a precipice. The president is atop this mountain. Now he faces the precipice. It is through his vision that we can determine whether this will be easy or tough. Based on experience, I wish to make this warning. The democratic framework has collapsed. The judiciary is not independent. There are allegations that are being made. We need to delve deeply into the issue that lay across this journey. It is our responsibility to solve them. I am with you throughout this struggle.
I have been washing the dirty laundry of this government for years. We started the bus. We pumped air to it. We pushed it. Those who joined on the way are now sitting on our laurels. This is the pain we have. This is the pain that the SLFP has. If you say no, it is a lie. Despite having such pains, we have never sought revenge from the president.
Everyone asks about who will cross over next. This has become a stressful situation. This has transformed into a situation where we are being put down. We need to ask ourselves whether we will go or not. We will be with Mahinda until 2023 ruling this country.
It was published in the newspapers recently that my name was also on the list of crossovers and there is a chair for me. However, I will not forget the tears in the eyes of my wife and children when I was beat up and put in jail.
ඇස්වල තිබිච්ච කඳුළු මට කවදාවත් අමතක වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා දාශපක්ෂයේ ඉඩක් තියෙනවා.
There is space in the SLFP and there is work at the SLFP. The CB Ratnayakas can do it. We will never leave the savior of the nation, Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Similar to the elections in 2005 and 2010, the United People's Freedom Alliance will record a resounding victory. The Galle district will record the highest votes, and we are working towards this together with the 10 electoral organizers. We will always work for the victory of the president.
I rechecked my birth certificate yesterday. I checked if I had a soul. The Ranga Bandaras are not a kind that bow down for money or positions. None of the Ranga Bandaras will join a government that works with drug dealers, casino owners, ethanol users, extortionists and brothel owners.
We will never sell the respect that we received from the voters and the respect of the party for money. I wish to say with pride that we will never bow down to the money of the government that has no morality, no law and no facilities towards the health sector.
අද පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී රංග බණ්ඩාර මන්ත්‍රීවරයා සහ තෙවක් පෙරුම
Today in Parliament, MP Ranga Bandara made a statement saying that the SLFP tried to get him by giving him a large sum of money. In addition, Tevara Peruma is one who lost his respect. We have no intention of having such persons in our party. We will also never accept them even if they give us money to have them. We will work as a party in this current situation. Coming up on the news tonight. At least 31 people washed away and dozens missing as storm hits southern Morocco. Details on international news.
Minister Anura Priyadarshana took office as the General Secretary of the SLFP today.
Anura Priyadarshana took office as the General Secretary of the SLFP at the party headquarters in Dali Road. A group including a number of senior political figures of the SLFP were present at the occasion. Meanwhile, Sarath Kumar Gunaratne took office as the Acting Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development.
I do not think I have come to a new place. As a minister appointed by the president, I have come to an old home which needs renovation. This is a privilege for me. After a party meeting, the president spoke to me and told me, Sarath, I am your minister and you are my minister. Having heard these words, they became an encouragement.
1,000 appointments presented by Maithripala Sirisena as the Minister of Health on the 18th of this month for junior staff at hospitals have been made invalid.
The sudden notice issued to the group of employees who have commenced work at various hospitals after receiving their appointments on the 18th of November has come as a shock and has caused great stress. About 60 employees were sent to the Colombo South Teaching Hospital 4 days ago. They worked for about 4 days. They worked yesterday as well and were suddenly told not to go to work and were told to report to the ministry. From tomorrow onwards, we will take to the streets and demonstrate on behalf of the workers. Hospital authorities had informed the group to report to the Ministry of Health and informed them on the sudden cancellation of their appointments. While the group did visit the Ministry of Health, they left empty-handed.
They have all been cancelled from 2015. They are trying to bring in 1,600 new recruits. It is pointless for powerful persons to take out their anger on us. This is truly sorrowful.
The group that exited the ministry staged a protest outside and attempted to re-enter, but they were denied access.
We accept that there has been an injustice.
The police intervened to halt the protests, which had blocked the entrance to the ministry.
I made inquiries from the secretary. She is abroad, so I believe these appointments were made without her approval. At the same time, when making appointments, we must secure allocations from the treasury. But there was no allocation. We have to pay these people as well, just as we put them to work. Since these were sudden appointments, they have been halted temporarily. This is what we have been informed. Meanwhile, addressing a letter to the Secretary to the Ministry of Health, the Sri Lanka Republic Health Services Association says that the new appointments granted with the approval of the Secretary are by no means illegitimate. The association calls on the Secretary to inform the relevant hospital authorities to allow the affected appointees to report to work and uphold their fundamental and human rights as citizens of this country.
Chief Minister of the North Central Province, S.M. Ranjith, has challenged the UNP-led opposition to enact regime change in the province. The Chief Minister extended this challenge at a media briefing convened this morning.
I challenge the common opposition, including the UNP, to enact regime change in the North Central Province. They will not be able to enact any sort of regime change as long as we are with the people. Neither the UNP nor the Sirisenas can do this. All 6 of them came before the President yesterday and pledged their support. All the councillors from Anuradhapura too are with us. There is no problem. If any such incident occurs, we are ready to face it.
The accepting of bonds in view of the presidential election commenced today. The Election Secretariat stated that deposits can be made on weekdays from 8:30 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. until the 5th of December.
The Election Secretariat states that all candidates must place a bond prior to nominations. A sum of 50,000 rupees is required to be deposited for a candidate nominated by a recognized political party, while the amount to be deposited by an independent candidate is rupees 75,000. The Election Secretariat added that an independent candidate must present a letter approved by the General Secretary of the Parliament stating that they held office as a parliamentarian. Meanwhile, candidate of the Janasita Peramuna, party leader Venerable Bathramulle Silaratnathera, placed his deposit this morning.
I place a deposit so I can become a candidate with the aim of abolishing the executive presidency. I am not contesting for my betterment or for the protection of my family or even to destroy this country.
The 2014 electoral list will be displayed for the convenience of the public for the upcoming presidential election. Meanwhile, the police headquarters have taken measures to deploy police officers for election duty under 4 stages. The police media spokesperson added that a special election coordinating center has been established at the police headquarters.
No arrests have been made in connection with the attacks and shooting that took place in Mawatagama, Maggona and Battegama shortly after the proclamation of the presidential election. The police say that investigations have been launched into the incidents.
A clash erupted between UPFA and UMP supporters in Mawatagama, Kurunegala on the 21st of this month. UMP Northwestern Provincial Councillor S.M. Pereira was hospitalized after sustaining injuries. Noting that 4 persons have been identified in connection with the incident, the police media unit said that the suspects are yet to be arrested in this regard.
A group of thugs carried out an attack in the Mawatagama town. Complaints have been lodged with the Mawatagama police and evidence has also been recorded. I am especially thankful to the Sirasa Media Network as it is they who highlighted this incident and even showed the public those who were involved. There are statements that have been lodged with the police. We deeply regret to note, even after complaints have been lodged, that the perpetrators are still at large. They forced us to get off the vehicles and damaged 4 vehicles. Subsequently, they attacked me. They also took away a chain valued at over 6.5 million rupees. They removed everything from my neck and hands.
Meanwhile, former UMP Pradeshya Sabha member Chamila Rana Singh, who was wounded when gunmen opened fire at individuals who were lighting firecrackers on the 22nd of this month, is still undergoing treatment. When we inquired into this, the police media unit said that the suspects in connection with the incident are yet to be arrested. Meanwhile, suspects connected to the attack launched on the vehicle and residents of Vathegama Urban Councillor Dinusha Lianage are yet to be apprehended.
Election monitors allege that over 500 police officers have been transferred following the proclamation of the presidential election. However, the police media spokesperson notes that these transfers were made prior to the presidential election being announced.
Election monitors say that over 500 police officers, including senior officers, have been transferred over the past week.
We believe that these new officers may have been transferred to these areas given the elevated levels of election violence. We asked the Elections Commissioner to call all police officers transferred after the announcement of the elections back to their original postings.
Although the election had not been officially announced at the time, the whole country was talking about the election. Thereby, these transfers could erode the people's trust in the police. We received reports of several such transfers on the 20th after the election had been announced.
According to what we have gotten to know, the Inspector General of Police is not aware of these transfers. These orders are being implemented by those above him via the Ministry's Secretary. Murders are taking place. Shootings have already occurred. The rule of law has broken. This is a very dangerous situation. As a result of these incidents occurring as soon as the election was announced, the people fear whether it will be a fair election.
However, the police media spokesperson points out that the transfers of 10,000 police officers, which were to come into effect on the 1st of January, have been postponed to February due to the presidential election.
10,000 year-end transfers were halted. The 500 transfers are primarily of Special Task Force personnel, OICs and ASPs. These are not included in those 10,000 transfers. These transfers have been made by the Secretary to the Ministry of Law and Order.
When an election has been announced, can transfers be made for emergency needs?
In truth, if there are such needs, the permission of the Elections Commissioner must be sought. However, these transfers have been issued within the past month.
Journalists also raised questions regarding the transfers at a media briefing convened by the UPFA today.
Welcome back to the news.
Chief Opposition Whip MP John Amaratunga presented the Supreme Court's determination on President Mahinda Rajapaksa's eligibility to contest for a third term as President in Parliament today.
I was able to find the determination of the Supreme Court today. The determination was announced before, but we have received it today because there will be no Parliament sessions for the next few days. This is for the knowledge of our citizens and especially to you, sir. I do not even think Nimal Siripala has seen it. The President announced that he was told, so we have to abide by the law. I do not even think Dinesh Gunawardena has seen it. This should be tabled in Parliament and be recorded in the Hansard.
මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා මේක හැන්සාට් එකට ඇතුල් විය යුතුයි කියලා.
ඔක මේ සභාගත කරන්න
සභාගත කරලා මේක හැන්සාට් එකට ඇතුල් කරන්න කියලා ඔබතුමාගේ කාර්යාලයට ඉල්ලා හිටියා.
මමත් බලන්න කියලා නියමිත එකද කියලා ඔක.
මේක
He has a document in his hands, but we must not include it in the Hansard until we make inquiries into whether it is a certified copy from the Supreme Court.
මේක හැන්සාට් ගත නොකළ
ඒක තමයි.
ඒක ගැන ඔබතුමා කලින් සෑහීමකටපත්
ඒක මේ සභාගත කරන්න. හොඳයි ඒ ගැන මම බලලා ඒක දැන් ඔබතුමා සභාගත කරන්නකෝ අපි බලමු.
Speaking during the budget debate today, UNP MP Dr. Harsha De Silva expressed the following views.
නොවැම්බර් මාසේ 20 වෙනිදා අල් ජසීරා රූපවාහිනී නාලකාවේ විවාදයකට මටත් ආරාධනා කළා තිබුණා.
I was invited to participate in a debate on the Al Jazeera channel on the 20th of November. I was informed that the Honorable Minister Kehli Ramukwala too would be participating. I said okay and that I would participate to speak about the economy and the presidential election. But unknown to us, Suren Suwanduwan from the GTF in Dublin and MP Rajiva Vijayasinghe, formerly of the government, also participated in this debate. I was clearly against the views that were expressed by Suren Suwanduwan from the Global Tamil Forum at this debate. You cannot entangle me with what was said by the person on the other side. I said that even though I am an opposition MP, I appreciate what was done by all those who work to eradicate terrorism, regardless of party division. That was what I said.
කෘතඥ පූර්වකව සලකනවා කියලා. ඒකයි කිව්වේ. මම කිව්වේ ඒකයි. අපි දකුණේ කොල්ලෝ. හරි. අපි දකුණේ කොල්ලෝ. හරි. අපි හොඳ සිංහල බෞද්ධයෝ. හරිද? මෙතන අපිට කිසි ඕමනාවක් නැහැ කොටිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙන්න. අපි කොටියා කියන්නේ කිසි දවසක බය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ රටට කිසිම දවසක එක දශමයකින්වත්
I have never wronged this country nor will I. I will further clarify my stance. Whether the president wins or loses the election, neither the UNP nor Harsha De Silva will ever let any war hero be brought before an international court.
ඒකේ ඉන්න හර්ෂ ද සිල්වා මන්ත්‍රීතුමාවත් ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක මම ඉතාමත් ඕනකමින් කියන්න කැමතියි.
The Colombo Stock Exchange recorded a downward slide of 2.25% today.
With the first half hour of the open of the CSE today, the benchmark all-share price index shed 200 points. While the ASPI stood at 7,530 points at the close of trading on Thursday, on Friday, the Bourse lost another 129 points. The ASPI slid by another 166 points today to close at 7,235 points.
The police headquarters says that the principal of the Heva Vitharana Vidyalaya in Rajagiriya, who was reported missing, had returned home last night.
Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said that the principal has been admitted to the Jayawardhanapura hospital for treatment.
The principal says that he visited the residence of the deputy principal and that he does not recall what happened afterwards. He said that he next realized that he was somewhere near the Parakrama Samudra in Polonnaruwa and got onto a bus and headed back to Colombo. He had arrived in Kottava and taken a treasure home. We hope to obtain medical advice to ascertain if such a situation can occur. The principal, who resides at the Crystal Terrace complex in Panipitia, was reported missing 5 days ago. Investigations were launched based on a complaint that was filed by the brother of the principal. The patient was admitted at around 12:30 last night. He was conscious at that time. However, his condition is not serious. We are conducting tests. He says that he has no recollection of what happened. It is only after further tests that we can say what happened to him.
The 7-match ODI series between Sri Lanka and England will begin on Wednesday. Jeevan Mendis, who had been recalled for the first 3 ODIs, will be playing in a limited over encounter for the first time since 2011. Rangana Herat, Dhammika Prasad and Dilruwan Pereira, who are rested, have also been named in the squad. However, Chaturanga De Silva, Ashan Priyanjan, Sikuke Prasanna and Niroshan Dikwella, who played in the series against India, have not been included in the squad. The first game of the series will be played at the R. Premadasa Stadium on Wednesday as a day-at-night encounter.
Well, that's a wrap of Primetime News at 9. It was a pleasure having you with us. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Shayan Silva. Take care and good night.